Mindset Mashup podcast. Here we are. And we've got a little bit of a different one today, actually. We're going to make this one a little bit funny. We're doing another interview for someone across the pond. Comedian. This guy's been on all the comedy channels. He's been Comedy Central. And one of the jokes I heard online was the funniest joke I saw on Instagram. 1000% that day, if not the funniest one I've ever seen in my life. I just want to welcome the one and only Plug Chapman. What's going on, bro?
What's up, man? Greetings from over here across the pond, man. Okay. What's up, man?
Look, thanks for coming, man. And just to give you some context, the people that follow this podcast are young entrepreneurs. We made top 200 in the UK, and today we're going to find out about the hustle of comedy. But before we get into that, Plug, tell me why comedy?
Man, no drug test for one in comedy, which is a good thing. Drug use is actually promoted. But two, man, I just was one of those people. I'm heavily opinionated, right? And so if you hire me at your job, I'm going to find what's wrong and I'm going to rally the troops. Not necessarily in a bad way to like rev against the machine, but more so like, hey, did y'all know this was going on? So we can all kind of, individually start stabbing. And, I got a college degree, man, and used to get in a little trouble and stuff. And when I was younger and things that just knickknacks on my record that kept me from getting like those jobs I wanted in my field, which was law enforcement, ironically.
Was it really?
Yeah, man, I wanted to be a homicide detective. That's why I always catch my girlfriends cheating, because I think like a detective. But yeah, man. And bro, I always wanted to do stand-up. I was blessed to have a scholarship out of high school to go to college, so that was free. Other than that, bro, I was ready to hit the stage, and man, life had I was 30. And at the point, I'm just looking at my life. I had a kid and I'm like, I'm not about to get no job making no money worth a damn. So these little $12 hour gigs, bro, if I can't hustle up $500 a week on my own merit, I should just walk into traffic. And that was the mentality I took.
That's an interesting perspective. How long? So you went into comedy in your 30s?
30 years old.
How long did it take you to make that transition to go, I'm going to go out there and earn this myself?
Oh, man, that's a good question. So it's funny now because I teach a comedy class here in Atlanta, and a lot of my students, they get out and it's like not them per se, but they have like these newer comics have this entitlement. You hit them up and you're like, hey, come do my show. And they're like, well, how much is it pay? Pay! I'm paying you a stage time. So I did 7 years, man. It took 7 years to really make an honest dollar in comedy.
What was that like?
Man, I wanted to frame it. Most businesses frame their first 100, but I needed it to pay some bills, so I couldn't frame a damn thing. I had to take some pictures of it. So I got a photo of it somewhere. But it let me know, it was motivating. It did two things. It was motivating to let me know if I made this, I could make more. But two, it also let me know that the hard work that I had put in had began to pay off. So yeah.
I think you said something interesting there. You said about that they thought, how much are you going to pay me? And you said about the entitlement. And it's crazy, isn't it? Because the hustle's been diluted. Like the hustle's got like this like new entrepreneurs, whether you're a comedian or a businessman, it's like paycheck. Like you think you're gonna come grab a paycheck straight away just like that? Because ultimately the paycheck isn't the currency in that transaction. It's the exposure to being on the stage doing your thing.
So that's a good question. That's a good point that you just brought up. So you said a word that comics hate. Any comic that watches this video, when you say exposure, they're gonna go, oh.
Why?
It's like we hear that word, it's like scraping nails across the chalkboard with Freddy Krueger gloves on. So everybody gets paid an exposure at first. So a newer comic, man, you can't run from that. Any position you start, I don't care if it's in corporate America, you start at the bottom. So you are making money, but you're making, what it is. You're making that entry level. It just so happens to be an entry level comedy. Your pay is beer, your pay is mozzarella sticks, your pay is stage time. So you have to keep that day job. You have to keep that side hustle. You have to do everything you can unless you become an internet sensation.
What's the hardest thing about that?
All about like going viral or becoming an internet sensation?
No. What's the hardest part of doing that without knowing that you're going to get the outcome that you desire?
Oh, I mean, it's a gamble. Like anything, love is a gamble. Life is a gamble. I mean, you do it. You have to come into it for the love. That's the only thing that's going to sustain you is the love. You're going to have bad nights. You have plenty of bad nights. And so if you don't have that love and that passion for it, you'll tap out very fast, real fast.
Has that ever happened to you?
Nah, man. I just bombed last night. Truth be told, I did 20 minutes. It was painful. My girlfriend was sitting there like, oh, I was just watching her face. But she seen me win more than she seen me lose.
So when you say that, are you talking about they just didn't find the jokes funny, or are you talking about just a tough crowd, or like what does that mean?
You know, we talked to never blame the audience. It was partially me. My energy was just like blah. The audience was blah. So I gave it back to them, which is a bad thing to do as a performer. So, hey.
But it must be so easy. It must be so easy to do that, though. Like, to not fall into that sort of trap of not giving, like, being that. Like, because that's the hard. I find that's the hardest thing. For me, that's what I'd imagine to be the hardest thing about comedy.
Man, comedy is so many things that's taking place while you on this stage. That's an aspect of it. So it's so many things that are going on in that moment that can cause a performance to either be top tier and go well, or B, just go bad. You can have an argument at the table between the customer and the wait staff about a bill, and that's got everybody's attention.
Tell me both sides. So like, what does like the bad, like what does a bad performance like look like from a comedian? Not from you personally, but like what does that entail of, do you think?
From my experience, it's mostly like a lack of preparation from the performance side. And so looking back on last night, I'm driving home because you always want to drive into a wall after a bad set. So I'm driving home and I had to realize, I'm like, hey, I didn't really do any of my material. I'm like, I was kind of working out some stuff that I've only kind of staged about 4 or 5 times. So the artistic side in me is hard on myself because you want anything to say. Just, you get this arrogance as a comic, like, I'm funny, laugh at me.
Yeah.
And when you take that on stage, you'll do bad.
But is that equally as important to do? Like, it's still like go out there and trial stuff, even if you might not get the response you want. Is that still like part of the process?
Absolutely. It's like it's kind of like boxing in a way. If you watch boxing, it's kind of like you got two artists in a sense, and they paint this picture. Some of them like the jab, that's their red color. Some of them like the uppercut. So like with a comic, it's the same thing in a set. It's like a roller coaster ride. You take them up and they laughing, and then you drop back down and you kind of ride to the next hill. And so that's kind of like what a comedy set is. If you watch one, unless they've just pieced all the laughs together, it's a few lulls. You know, you got to learn to embrace the silence. And so starting out in comedy, you perform for a lot of comedians. That's the audience for your first 6 months to a year. You know, every now and then somebody brings a girlfriend or a boyfriend to an open mic. So it gets you just building this muscle, you used to the silence. Because comics, we don't laugh at nothing, for one. You ever tried to impress your coworkers that work with the presentation? They sitting there like, this, would you hurry up so I can go do my head? That's kind of how it is. And
Yeah,
so you build this Teflon. So when you get in front of real audience and they not laughing, you know how to stay in the pocket, you know? And so
do you think that's what puts most comedians taking action? That
what
silence. Like, do you think that silence of like, or that pressure of like being a comedian to comedians, do you think that's what puts people off actually going, do you know what, I want to get on stage?
only comedians that are in it to impress other comics. Like, you don't want to play to the back of the room. It's a saying in comedy. If I'm hosting or if I'm performing, and let's say all the comics are backstage, and I say a joke, and the back of the room laughs, it's probably not going to get a laugh from the front of the room.
Why?
Because our sense of humor is warped. So we like dark stuff. We'll laugh at rape jokes and we'll laugh at cringy stuff. And a lot of times if we say a joke and no one laughs, you might hear some comics in the back laughing at you and not what you said. And so comics aren't going to pay to see you. Comics are not going to pay to come see me perform. When I come over there to perform, ain't no comedians gonna pay to see me. They might try to come to see, hey, who is this guy? But that's not going to be who the bulk of my ticket sales come from. So I can give a damn about if they've heard this joke 50 times and you finna hear it 51. I'm working on it. So,
it's so interesting.
You're a human. So you want to be known as a comics comic. You know, you want to be that guy that comics inspired to write like or be like or whatever. But at the same time, you just have to do you, and your originality will probably, what's the word? It will probably satisfy that.
I'd imagine the hardest bit about becoming or being a comedian is finding your own style.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, do you think that's probably true to life?
Absolutely. Think about it, man. Some people figure it out in high school. Some people figure it out in college. Some people takes them their 30s. They still be trying to figure out really who they are. So absolutely. I think that's really the blessing for me in starting comedy at 30. I had life experience.
Yeah.
I had been cheated on. I had been in and out of relationships. I had a baby. I didn't got fired. I didn't quit jobs. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? So having that experience, I can talk about more. I got more of a toolbox to pull from as opposed to going into stand-up at 18. All I got is a bunch of penis jokes and dirty houses and roaches and bad breath. That's your experience at 18. Yeah. Oh, parents suck, don't they? You know? So that's a blessing in it. So I think I was able to find my voice a lot faster. They say it takes 10 years. I could say probably about 6 in. I pretty much know. I always knew who I was as a person, but knowing like, okay, this is what people like from me. This is how they see me. So
that took about 6 years.
Yeah, man. It takes a minute to get comfortable. It does. And and what comes with that is being able to make it through last night. Just knowing like, hey, man, that just was a bad night. I'm a big sports fan. Do you know how many games I saw Michael Jordan have a bad night in the 90s playing bad? Like, you know what I mean? So it happens.
But it's so true though, Plug, because I think that's what makes successful people. Like, whether you're a comedian, whether you're a business owner, whether you're someone that's striving toward your job or career, I think that's what makes people, you know, that like getting, even on the bad times, just going through, because we all know it's easy to be good when the sun's shining. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's how you handle the hard times.
Yeah.
Who are you then? What are you then? That is the makeup of the person when they can get through the struggle times.
But as a comedian, the reason why I think you're saying that from a like as a comedian is because you're on stage showing them that version of you. Like, people can often hide behind closed doors when things aren't going right. But as a comedian, you're in front of people like doing that. So how does that change when like you're not getting the laughs, or like how does that change your mind? Like, what goes on in a comedian's body when that happens?
Well, you got several ways that you can do it. You can own it. You can own it.
But just be like,
yeah. I even said something last night. A few minutes had went by and it was just, And I was just like, man, I had a video go viral this week of stand-up. And I'm like, this is humbling. And everybody just lost it. I mean, so you can handle it that way. Some people tear into the audience and start, it really comes down, and the same thing I tell my class, is really how you handle conflict or situations as a person off stage. It's probably going to translate off stage.
Yeah, sick. That's wicked.
So if I'm a laid back person, I can sit there and kind of analyze and then make a response. So somebody say something crazy to me, I can just, okay, boom.
Yeah.
Some people just, So,
Yeah.
thing I think is funny with comedy, with my comedy, a lot of my comedy is personal, right? Like I got a joke where I talk about my dad used to take me with him to cheat on my mom, and he would make sure that the women he cheated with had daughters. So we would just go try to tag team, you know what I mean? And when I talk about this, like people just like, ooh. And I'd be like, this is my life. Why are y'all sensitive about what happened to me? But you have to realize that could be somebody else's situation.
Yeah.
That could be somebody else's situation currently. They're just not able to find the humor in it like I am. So, what do you do then?
Does that put you off of creating jokes like that?
No.
Good.
No.
Because I really need those jokes.
Man.
Like, I really still need those jokes. Like I need like sensitive jokes.
Yeah.
Even if it's maybe that somewhere in that is relatable to my life, but like even today, plug, like I really rate comedians. I've had quite a stressful day today, and I just got off a meeting. I was like, I've got a podcast with a comedian, and I really need it today. like I really need it today because I feel like it's such a blessing to have people that are intentionally funny in that
they need it.
Planet.
They need it too. They just don't want to admit it to you, or something you said resonated with them so hard in a bad way, just happened to be a bad way, to where they want to tell you thank you, but they haven't processed whatever that hurt from their life is. And so it comes off cringy to them.
Do you think society forces people not to laugh at sensitive jokes as well? Because like,
what? Man, I tell people sometimes I think I was meant to do comedy like in the Def Jam era, And I'm not necessarily like a harsh, brash. Not necessarily a vulgar comic. It's just some of the things that I'll say. Like I'm not, afraid to. I talk about everybody: white people, black people, gay people, straight people. Do dumb stuff around me. Jokes will be made. I don't care who you are.
You don't discriminate.
No, I talk about my mama, my daughter, everybody. You can get it. Don't do dumb stuff in the presence of a comedian if you do not want to be material. Simple.
I'm just waiting for your video about me going viral about this podcast that you about taking the piss out of me. That'll be the next one.
Nah. If this one go viral, it's gonna be for the right reasons.
Yeah, it's so. Who's your inspiration as a comedian?
My life. But if we're talking about comedians, and I'm gonna say everybody, bro, because I have a respect for everybody that does it, man. It's like you have it's so many different styles of comedy, and there's so many things that everybody brings to the game that's so unique to them. It's a guy out in LA named Jeremy Paul, and I hope you watch this, Jeremy. I might tag you in it, matter of fact. When I first started, I used to see this dude at open mics, and I used to be like, yo, what in the hell is this dude talking about, bro? Like, this is garbage. Oh, this is the worst. Couple of months go by. I do a show with him, an actual show where it's actually a few people in the crowd, non-joke tellers. I saw this dude destroy. And it was at that moment, I was just like, oh, well, his sense of humor might not be my style of comedy, but that doesn't mean he's not funny. That just means he has to find the people that appreciate this type of humor. That's how you build a fan base. You find the people that like the jokes you tell, and you invite them to come see you. And so that's what made me have an appreciation for, that's how I can say everybody that gets on stage. Now, do I have comics I watch more than others? Of course. But everybody that gets on stage, I got respect for, man, because they all bring something.
And I agree. Like, I rarely watch comedy and not laugh, to be fair, because I just think I enjoy laughing. I enjoy like listening to jokes. My girlfriend's the total opposite. She doesn't understand jokes. Like she actually doesn't understand jokes. But I'm so inspired because it just takes bollocks. Like it just take. I'd imagine to get in front of people and try to say something, trying to make them laugh is a feeling like no, I can't even imagine it.
Man, this ain't even the hardest thing I've done. You want to know what's harder than doing stand up?
Go on.
Go referee some high school basketball. Go do that. Go do that for a couple seasons. And let's have the same conversation. I'm like, go referee basketball. Go do some stand up. You're gonna be like, bro, where is the stage? Let me get on stage.
Do you think? Bit of a weird question. Do you think everyone could be a comedian?
I think everybody wants to be. Everybody can't be.
Yeah, I think
everybody wants to be the funny person. It's three things you want to be known for: rich, funny, and being good in bed. Those are the three things you want to be known for. If you are known for those, your name will ring bells amongst the hills. Yeah. I ain't lying. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree. I can't disagree with it, to be fair.
And so that is what makes certain comedy rooms have certain levels of pressure. For example, like we got black rooms, we got mainstream rooms where it's white people, it's everybody. But you got your black rooms, it might be like the hood room. So, over in London or somewhere, it's the little hood area. They got a comedy night. You better come in there you better be funny. So in the black rooms, it's a different muscle you got to work out.
Do you change the jokes for those rooms?
No. Sometimes I change the references.
Nice. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't necessarily change the jokes. Now, you got to be faster. You got to be a little quicker. Like that joke you saw online, that joke works. That's got to be quick. Now, if I go do the joke in the mainstream room, I might can take another 10 seconds, maybe paint the picture a little more if I want to. And because they like the writing. They like the well-written, witty jokes and the callbacks and that's funny. Black people don't give a damn what's funny. And so all black people, we all think we funny. We got a funny cousin, our mama funny, our grandmama funny. So when we perform for each other, it's he ain't even funnier than my cousin. I could be up there doing this. That's kind of how we look at comedy.
Really?
So that's what makes the pressure a little
Have you had a comedian in your family?
You said, do I have another?
No, have you been inspired by a comedian in your family?
No, I'm the first person to pursue stand-up in the family. So I'm technically the pioneer of the family. Although my entire family could be comedians. All the way to man, everybody funny, man. My daughter's hilarious.
Do you think she'll become a comedian?
I don't know. We'll have to see what happens in life. If life might push her to it. Never know. It's no pressure on her to do it. Yeah. Never touches a microphone. It's good for her. Maybe she'll avoid this sickness.
So when I speak to you, highly engaging person, very articulate, and just straight away, even over Zoom, I'm just so engaged of like every word you're saying. How have you always been able to articulate yourself and be that engaging and have that sort of engaging personality, or has that something that comedy sort of taught you through the silences, if you like?
Nah, I've always been this way.
Yeah.
I've come from one of those families of like my mom was real outspoken, but the thing about my mom, she didn't really have a lot of tact. Like she would just say what she had. I don't care who get hurt. Sorry. Shouldn't be so sensitive. My dad says what's on his mind, but he's a little bit more tactful. So I got a little bit of both, right? And so I've always been comfortable talking to people. I've been a part of sports teams and stuff growing up. So that helps, being able to have a floor to be open and learn how to communicate and lead people and all of that stuff. So that always played a part, man, to getting me where I am. I used to host talent shows and stuff and perform in them when I was a kid. So I've always been comfortable. Refereeing, that's what's gonna get me scared. That's what's
that's so crazy, because what's funny is when you said to me you'd rather do stand up, I'm like, I think I'd take the refereeing. I think I'd take but so, like, and this video that went viral, that was the one on Comedy Central, wasn't it? That was the crackhead salesman one. Was that the one?
What's so crazy, bro? That aired in 2016, bro.
No way.
That's how old that video is, man. I don't even do that joke no more. I don't even do that material no more.
Do you know the bit that got me about the joke was when you said the apple's got a bite out of.
Hey man,
I was laughing already, but that bit.
I tell my class, man, keep a notebook in your bathroom, because you will be surprised at what you think about when you are in the shower or washing your dishes or your hands or somewhere. And I was literally in the shower. I already had the setup, and the old punchline was just, it was terrible. It was just simple, like, yeah, crackhead sold me the computer and now I got a MacBook for sale, so I'm trying to double up the profit. And one day I've been in the shower and it just hit me. I was like, Apple. I was like, what if the crackhead say I took a bite out of Apple? That's why I'm giving you a discount. I go to an open mic that night. I said, I'm talking about people getting up out of their chairs running. What's funny about that Comedy Central taping, I actually messed the joke up and it made it work better. So if you were really to see like the uncut version of that full set, we did like 10 minutes. If you were to see a full set, you will see my reaction go, because I had never seen the joke work that good, because me actually messing it up made it hit harder, which was funny because my buddy, right when that clip starts, you see some guys in the crowd. That's one of my comedy writing partners. And he saw it and he said it the same thing. He was like, damn, you messed the joke up and it made it work. So
does that happen often? Does that happen often?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah, man. It's hard to. And it's a blessing in messing jokes up, because sometimes you don't want to sound scripted. You don't want to be up there sounding like you rehearsed this in the mirror 1,000 times before the show. You want to kind of be flexible with the joke. How I do my comedy, I think I got a good idea of what to say to make you laugh. So I might take my time kind of getting around that corner. I might step over an extra little hole. I might talk a little bit more just to kind of see if I can squeeze something else, because I know I got this knockout punch. The problem comes when I try to squeeze up here and I throw the knockout punch and they go, "Is that all you got?" That's when the problem come in. So, AKA bombing. So yeah.
That's
last night I had knockout punches, but only a few. I had to throw in some of my old tried and true ones to let them know, like, okay, this guy does comedy. He's just having a rough night. He's missing free throws tonight. It's all good. You'll catch him next time. He'll be 30 for 35 from the floor.
Is that your mindset as well? Do you just go, just miss the free throw, move on, let's try again?
Because there's no universal jokes, man. There's no universal jokes that's gonna make everybody laugh. Look at the analytics. I wish we could screenshot the analytics of my video. It's had, last time I checked, 300,000 views, 30,000 likes. So it's a whole bunch of people that saw it that was like, this is trash. Go through the comments. There's some people. This is a joke, stupid. Hey man,
you're never gonna please everyone.
That's y'all opinion. If I tried to please everyone, my girlfriend is a new comic. She's been doing comedy like a year, bless her heart. And she was like, I'm just trying to make everybody happy. I looked up, I was like, you're never gonna make it. You never gonna make it. If
But
you
it's
got
the
that,
same with everything. It's the same. And this is why I see such everything that you said today, Plug. I've seen such a connection with entrepreneurship is unbelievable. Do you see how like related it's the same hustle, isn't it? It's
it's
the
the same
same.
thing.
You're not gonna
I
make
just got
everyone
a different
happy.
product. I don't have a physical product. I
Yeah,
am the product. That's the
yeah,
difference.
yeah. And
Still
like
a
that,
daily job.
and that's it. I think like what I'm sort of taking from you is like you're not gonna please everyone, and you're gonna bomb sometimes. Like you're gonna miss dreadfully. Like 'cause sometimes you're gonna give it your best shot, and you're still gonna miss. And then what you said about I can't help but feel like how you developed your character over a certain period of time. Like you haven't just become a viral comedian overnight. This has been years of developing your style, your the way that you articulate the jokes, the way that you've adapted to the audience.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
The exciting thing about it is because, okay, now with the digital age, you got these internet sensations. So you got a guy might get a bunch of views off of some funny skits that he got. So what happens is the comedy clubs reach out to him because he got 2 million people following him. So why wouldn't he be able to sell 190 seats in Greenville, South Carolina? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they reach out to him. They say, hey, we got 20,000 for you to come do a weekend. Who's that humble to be like, hey, man, I really don't do comedy. I just made some videos, so I appreciate it, but nah, I ain't, because I'm not a comic. They gonna take it. And so what happens, they pack the place out, and they bomb. And they have to put real comics on the show to actually at least save the show and
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
people go, okay, at least we got to laugh a little bit. So the blessing for me, people think this is just a viral out of nowhere overnight sensation. No, this started in 2010, June 23rd. I've been doing this for a minute. So now when you come out to see me, I got 45 minutes of comedy for you. I got an hour of comedy. I got an hour and a half of comedy for you. So that's the blessing for me. It's like everybody's inboxing me, congratulating me like about time. I'm like, nah, it's not about time. Something was going on in my personal life to where I wasn't open to where I need to be heading. So it's perfect timing, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I got another video. I got a video from the same set that I'm waiting to drop because this one just keeps
Going up.
Dude, I got 600 followers yesterday on Instagram. My girl was like, 600? I was like, yo, I'm about to hit 30,000. I'm about to hit 31. I think I'm gonna hit it before the day. So it's a blessing, man. I'm just making sure I got everything together.
And I think that's the message, isn't it? This, as you said, you're not an overnight success. You're getting the result now that you've been working with since June the 23rd, 2010, and you've been missing shots. You've been keeping going. You haven't stopped. You've stuck to your guns, and you continue doing what you feel you're meant to be doing, and the results are coming. And I think that is such an important message for every single person to walk this planet.
You got to plant seeds. Entrepreneurship is like taking it's like going to the local store that sells seeds for trees, and you just scoop a bunch of them and you go in your backyard and you just start throwing them out. You don't know how fast something is going to grow. You might be in the backyard for 3 years. Like, what kind of seeds did I buy?
But
it's been raining. I got sunshine. And then 3 years later, you might be ready to give up on them seeds, excavate the whole backyard and build a pool. But then one night you go out there and you see a lemon tree that started. Then the next morning you waking up, you got some okra. Day after that, you wake up, you got cabbage, you got pineapples. You're like, when the hell did I plant some pineapples? That's entrepreneurship.
But you said something which is really resonated with me, which was, but you're prepared to do 45 minutes of comedy. So even though your tree didn't go straight away, even though the lemon tree didn't happen straight away, when it was ready to come, you're prepared for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of perseverance, missing shots and carrying going. Yeah. And so, Plug, we'll wrap this up, but what's your what do you want to close on? Like, what's the message that you want to leave people with?
Oh man, stick it out through the nose. Stay true to who you are, and don't bend for nobody. And you gotta realize, man, the money will come. It'll come. It'll come. It'll come. Don't quit your day job though.
just in case. Just in case.
Don't do anything that's gonna take away. If you got a job to where you come home, and I don't care if you're telling jokes, you're inspiring to be a real estate. I don't care what you're doing. If you have a job that takes so much out of you to where you can't work on your goals when you get home, find another job. I don't give a damn how much they pay you, because you will never get there.
Well, you're selling your dream, aren't you? Like that, you're selling your dream from a paycheck. Absolutely. If you do that.
Every time you punch that clock, bing,
yeah,
you are essentially selling your dream to that person. That CEO of that company is buying your dream.
Yeah, facts. Plug. I want to see you in London. Like,
I'm coming.
I want to see you in London.
Hey man, I'm about to run another ad. When I drop my other video, I'm gonna run another ad on y'all's area with this crackhead joke. Do. And I'm gonna put some money behind it, and I'm just gonna target the UK. I met some guys, man, I was in the DR a couple of weeks ago. Met some cool cats from London, man. We inboxed each other and stuff. So I'm gonna find out where they are. I'm gonna target their whole spot.
Yeah, please do. I want to see you, and bro, I'll buy the ticket. I'll bring some people, man. I want to see you in London big time. But just for the people that
will travel.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I want to see you in London using that passport. Get over here, man. But where can people find you on social media?
Man, I keep it simple for everybody, man. I'm Plug Chapman on everything, man. Plug Chapman. My website, Plug Chapman Comedy. I wrote a book. Y'all should check it out. I'm related to a very famous rapper. And it's an interesting story. So I go into detail about our relationship and stuff. So yeah.
Who's the rapper? Just for them to.
T.I., man. Y'all a big T.I. Y'all got T.I. fans over there?
Yeah, love T.I., man.
Yeah, that's my mom's that's my mom's younger brother, obviously. But no, he the oldest. Yeah. So that's my uncle, man. So interesting story. So if you want to check that out, please get you a copy off my website, plugchapmancomedy.com. Yeah, appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate the invite.
No, it's a pleasure, man. Thank you. Like, seriously, thank you, man. It's been, as I said, I've needed it. I needed the laughs today. I needed the smile. Look, your energy, bro, is so wicked. And yeah, for those that are here, don't go and follow Plug Chapman on, what is it? Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I'm not really a TikToker. I just deleted my Twitter because I've had the same followers since 2009. But Facebook, Instagram, I'm active. Plug Chapman.
All right, there we go. And those that are still here, subscribe to the channel. Go follow Plug. But for now, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Let's go. God bless.
Later, bro.